Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is well. And today, I kind of want to talk about my podcast. Last night, I decided to bring back the podcast and to start basically, let's call it season 2 of the Ismono Podcast. And maybe to kind of bring you up to speed for those of you who are only on this channel, but I assume most of you come from my main channel. On my main channel, I had this podcast where every 2 weeks I had a guest on the show, either some brand designers or mostly other reviewers or creators on YouTube. And my main channel is all about bags, travel, and everyday carry. So the topics were surrounded around bags, travel, and everyday carry. I put the podcast on hiatus because I actually felt a little bit bad for my guests. You see, I live in Germany, and for the podcast to work, the guests and I always had to kind of figure out the perfect scheduling. And with some of my guests, it kind of meant that they had to either be on my show very early in their mornings or late at night, or on the weekend where usually they had some family time. So they took time out of their already busy schedule day to kind of talk to me for an hour or sometimes even 90 minutes or 2 hours. And then seeing that my podcast only had like 200, 300 or 400 views max always made me feel a little bit bad that they actually took time out of their day to join my podcast. Obviously, none of them kind of said to me, "Oh, Bo, why the hell is there only so less views?" Or they never kind of made me feel bad. They actually were always happy to be on my podcast, but I honestly felt a little bit bad. And the last podcast that I made was with a guest who also went on the podcast on Nomads Nation, which gave me the opportunity to do a real good, proper one-to-one comparison, because both of those podcasts, mine and the one from Nomads Nation with the same guest, were released almost at the same time. And the podcast on Nomads Nation had, if I'm not completely mistaken, triple the amount of views. So I felt a little bit bad, not only because my guests didn't get the exposure as much as he deserved, but also I felt like, I'm just like on my other content that I make, it's not gaining that much attention, and I kind of felt bad and a little bit, truth to be told, discouraged, because I'm putting a lot of work in all of my content in a way, be it either on my main channel with the production value, doing a lot of editing, or with the podcast where I carve out and also my guests carve out important time out of their day to make that podcast a reality, or be it here on this second channel where I make videos daily. And when you don't get that much attention on those specific pieces of work, it becomes a little bit discouraging. That is why I thought, okay, let's put the podcast on hiatus and kind of think about how I can bring it back. And now I actually have an idea how to bring it back. So the first and foremost thing about the podcast was the somewhat pressure of making an episode every 2 weeks. That was honestly also very stressful in a way, because I also had to kind of schedule an episode, a date with a guest that is on the other side of the world. And that is a huge responsibility because I'm occupying the time of someone else. So, and doing that every 2 weeks, that was definitely putting a lot of strain on me. And I want to change that. So I'm not going to be as, let's say, stressed about it. I'm not going to bring it back with a specific scheduling time frame. I'm probably going to do at least one per month, but I'm not going to stress myself out if I'm not going to be able to make an episode in a timely manner. So that's the very first thing. And just like I've been telling you in most of these vlogs, I think the most important part, at least for me, is to enjoy the process and not to stress myself out so that it becomes somewhat of a grind where I suddenly don't enjoy the process anymore. So that is a very important part to bringing back the podcast. The second part is guests. I actually made somewhat of a production idea. I'm not going to limit myself with episodes that are involving guests. I'm going to do 3 types of podcasts episodes in the future. So one, first and foremost, it's the guest-based podcast where I will interview a guest, and yeah, that's probably the most interesting for most of the viewers. But as I said, that is stressful. But that's going to be one part of the podcast. And the second part is live streams. I will incorporate, and I want to thank Ron Kwok for kind of bringing me back to live streaming. I've done live streaming in the past, but I kind of let it slide a little bit, and he kind of recommended, hey, just start live streaming again, and I will do that, but also will incorporate that as a podcast episode. So I will kind of live stream and then have the chat doing Q&As with me or ask me anything, and that's going to be another podcast episode / live stream where people can ask me questions in the chat or submit questions in advance, and then I will kind of answer those in the live stream. So that's the second type of episodes that I will do on podcast. And the third one, and that is the one that I'm most excited about, is a somewhat essay style podcast where I will answer a specific question around the topics that I have on my main channel. For example, the first episode that I'm thinking about will be something about everyday carry, more specifically, why everyday carry. Here in Germany, the thought of everyday carry isn't as common, while many people kind of incorporate that in their lives, meaning phone, wallet, keys is everyday carry, but it's not subconscious, it's not consciously ingrained in their mind that is an everyday carry. The thought of everyday carry isn't as big in Germany because mostly everyday carry, as far as I understand, is somewhat related also to knives or multi-tools. In Germany, no one carries around a knife, and therefore this kind of niche of everyday carry isn't as big as it could be. It's not as consciously ingrained. So that is the first topic that I kind of want to hit with that podcast episode. So I will have those kind of essay style podcasts in the future. Why everyday carry, or for example, why choosing something else than cotton for your travel clothing and stuff like that will be covered in the podcast. And this YouTube channel, my second YouTube channel, is actually one of the reasons why I'm kind of thinking about that. This YouTube channel taught me not only to kind of film daily, but more importantly, be able to talk fluently about one topic and kind of made me enjoy this, just talking a little bit more. And I know that I can talk about topics for hours, and then I thought yesterday evening, why not kind of incorporate that in the podcast and kind of think about a couple of topics that would be very interesting to the people on my main channel, and then bring back the podcast, because those kind of essay style podcast episodes will be very easy for me to produce without kind of stressing myself out in terms of a schedule and a date with someone else that is living in a completely different time zone. So yeah, that's why I'm so excited to bring back that podcast and to kind of do those essay style podcasts in the future. And yeah, I kind of have this daily vlogging channel to kind of thank for helping me to get inspired to bring that back. And again, that is one of the reasons why I think everyone should start a YouTube channel. It kind of not only helps you to learn new stuff and learn how to talk in front of the camera, but hopefully also inspires you to start a podcast or any other creative endeavors that you might be able to think of in the future. So yeah, again, I can highly recommend to start a podcast, a vlog a day, or a YouTube channel, and not think about being perfect in the beginning too much. Start simple, and then hopefully it will flourish in the long run. All right, but to help you to start simple, check out the video up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. Don't forget to like, hype, and potentially subscribe by clicking the button up here. I see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.